Welcome everyone to the Lopatcong Township Planning Board meeting, reorganization, regular meeting, January 22nd, 2025. Would you like to do the roll call?
Yes, I will. Members Coyle. Here. Foy. Here. George. Here. Melendez. Polito.
Here.
Weeks.
Here.
Vice Chairwoman DeLeo. Here. Chairman Sampson.
Here. Okay, would everybody please join me in a moment of silence, followed by the oath of allegiance to the flag. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided indicating the time and place of the meeting in accordance with Chapter 231 of the Public Laws of 1975 by advertising a notice in the Star Ledger and the Express Times and by posting a copy on the bulletin board in the municipal building. Okay, first order of business, reappoint, swear in. Class 2, Andrew Melendez. Class 3, James Polito. Class 4, Susan DeLeo. I'd imagine we can do all these at the same time.
Yeah, Mr. Melendez is not here though tonight, right?
That's correct.
Yeah, so if the two people getting sworn in, Mr. Leo and Mr. Polito, would just stand and raise their right hands. I'm gonna swear you in. Do you affirm or swear that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey? That you will bear true faith and allegiance to the same and to the governments established in the United States and in this state, under the authority of the people, and that you will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform all the duties of the office of a member of the Planning Board of the great Township of Lopatcong, according to the best of your ability.
I do.
I do. Very good. Consider yourself sworn. You can, if you have those, you can sign them and pass them down. Mr. Melendez, we'll get next time.
I guess we'll have to have him on the agenda for the next meeting. Okay, next order of business, we already did the roll call. Election of officers. Would somebody like to make a nomination for the chairman?
I'll make that. Robert Santa.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
All right, would somebody like to make a nomination for the vice chairman?
I vote for Sue DeLeo.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nays?
Okay, would somebody like to make a nomination for the secretary?
I'll make that for Margaret Diltz.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Thank you very much. So you could probably do those as a block the next, can't we, Jim?
Yeah, that's up to the chair. You can adopt all resolutions 2501 through 2505 as a block, if the board so desires.
Would somebody like to make a motion to approve resolution number 2501 through 2505?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Okay, roll call that. Members Coyle,
Yes.
Coy,
Yes.
George,
Yes.
Polito,
Yes.
Weeks, Vice Chairwoman DeLeo,
Yes.
Chairman Sampson.
Yes.
Thank you guys very much.
And we're gonna welcome Daniel Block as our planner.
Thank you all very
Daniel.
much.
Welcome.
Look forward to working with you.
Okay, did everyone get the minutes from November 26th and December 18th? Did you all get that email?
Yes.
Anybody have any questions? All right, would somebody like to make, what did we do with the correction on that? Did we just leave it? It's not really a big deal, I don't think.
Well, technically, when she did the transcript, she noted that Robin had not arrived, and that was correct. Maybe what I add to that front page is just arrived in the time, because I have that. I'll just put that on.
I mean, you're right, they show her in the
Yeah,
boats
but
and
she
everything
did-
else, so.
Right then.
Yeah, that's fine if you can just note that.
I will.
That would be acceptable. And that sets the record clear as to attendance.
Okay, so does someone want to make a motion to approve those minutes?
I'll make a motion.
Members Coyle,
Yes.
Floyd,
Yes.
George,
Yes.
Polito,
Abstain.
Weeks,
Yes.
Vice Chairwoman DeLeo.
Yeah.
Chairman Sampson.
Yes. Okay. New business, the fair share obligation. Mr. Block, would you like to speak about this a little bit?
Sure. Yeah, what we're working on right now is evaluating the obligations that were established by the DCA. So there's a three-part allocation factor that goes into that obligation that DCA has allocated 87 affordable units for the fourth round for Lopatcong. We believe we can get it down to around 70 just by analyzing the vacant land that the state included in their analysis, which we find to be flawed. They included a lot of things that are not really vacant and developable. So as we cut that number down, we can challenge reducing the obligation down to around 70 units. We're still fine tuning that exact number, but we're going to get that in to the state by the end of the month. And that we'll have to do a filing with the court to challenge that number, and then we will be heard by the court, and they'll make a decision through the program whether they accept our numbers or not. And then we can move forward with the housing element and fair share plan, which will be adopted by the planning board, and that's got to be done by the end of June.
Okay. I thought the language in that, we had to have a resolution by the end of,
It's the governing body that has to adopt the resolution.
So,
but it sounds like we're not that far yet.
Yeah, so by the end of January, we have a report ready to go. So our findings, we just have to fine tune a little bit. It's around 70 units. So we can reduce that number down to 70. We will challenge, the town council will have to adopt that resolution, and then it has to be filed with the court.
So it's something that'll happen relatively quickly.
Yeah.
And I think that the take-home point for the board's purposes is that you're going to be, in the next, I guess, 5 months, dealing with revising your housing element and fair share plan to develop a method by which this could actually be theoretically built out, which is going to take some time and obviously a lot of planning input and probably some time with meetings to go over that. The rule of thumb being, and it depends on, there's various factors. Mr. Block knows them a lot better than I do, but there's different credit weights about different types of housing, rental housing, age-restricted housing, 100% affordable developments, you get credits, a 2-for-1 bonus. But, the rule of thumb is that you apply 5 towards what your number is because it's a 20% set aside. So even at 70, you're looking at 350 new units.
Does it have to be new units, or can we?
If you have existing units that haven't already been used to satisfy a prior obligation, then yes, you can use those, or if there's other types of housing, group homes or things that haven't already been used to satisfy an obligation, you can use them. It doesn't have to be all brand new housing. So there are a variety of options or mechanisms they call to meet your obligation. It doesn't have to be all new buildings.
Okay.
I have a question on that, just for kids and giggles here. Let's just say Warren Heights down here, all right? Could they have changed some of their buildings or rooms elements and make them lower income? And would that cover that?
So there is I'm not familiar with that development
It's just,
particularly.
it's, what kind of, what you would call it?
Senior citizens.
Condos?
No, Warren Heights
Condos
is
and
Condos,
townhouses.
They probably already have a 20%.
Well, sure
They
they
already
do,
have it.
could they go from, say, 20% to 30%?
If they were willing to do that and the town could buy down those units, or there is a way to purchase the difference between the market value and the affordable. So the town could use their trust fund to buy down those units and make them affordable. That's one
So you're
option.
not building more, you're just
Without,
transferring.
That would also depend on the property owner creating more.
Correct. Have to come up with a negotiation with them on.
Yeah, I just thought it was a tool.
It's an
Well,
option.
currently, we have a rehab program going on that's brand new to existing homes in the town that could go towards, credits.
So the rehabs would go towards what they call the rehab obligation. And the numbers here. So Lopatcong, that's a different number than the 87. The present need for Lopatcong is actually 0. So there is no obligation for that for this round, and there probably was for the prior round. But so you don't have to do anything else with that for this round.
Now, I have a question. I'd like to know what the process is. So you'll have something, the next council meeting is the 29th,
Okay.
which we have advertised and established for the adoption of whatever the planning board puts forth, right?
Well,
So the planning board doesn't actually have to do anything for this filing.
Okay.
this is kind of information, because this is going to ultimately end up with the planning board becoming a part of this planning process. So that's why we want to have it on the agenda. It's really going to be the governing body's determination as to what the number ought to be. They adopt the resolution. Within 48 hours of that adoption, the municipal attorney has to file what's called a declaratory judgment action,
Municipal.
whatever it's called nowadays. Used to be called the declaratory judgment action with the courts establishing that number.
But will they have a recommendation from
Yes,
the
he's
planner?
gonna have a
So I'm trying
memo.
to
Yes,
establish.
we will have a memo explaining how we believe, well, what we believe the number should be and how we
Okay.
arrived at that, and
You'll have
that
that
will
to
be
me
included in
before
the
the
filing.
29th.
Yes.
And then after that, there's going to be a period where people can actually challenge that number, Beth.
Yeah, I read that.
And then, huh?
Our
Suggestion.
challenge number.
And then after that period elapses, and whatever gets adjudicated, you have to get the fair share housing element done. And the land use element and housing element done.
Can they challenge it on both ways?
Yes.
Up and down?
Well, I don't think that they generally challenge the DCA number. It's going to be the reduction in number that people like fair share housing and other interested parties may challenge.
Typically, the developers who want to build something say,
Yes, well, they're
we think your
challenging
number
that
should be
number.
higher.
The resident could come in and say, hey, you know what,
But
let's make it 60.
But to your answer is that there is also another opportunity to challenge it when the board adopts the housing element and fair share plan, where it starts zoning and putting in recommendations for where this ought to occur. People can challenge that. They're not going to be able to challenge the actual, allegedly, the selections of and criteria of sites, saying that theirs is better. But I don't know how else they would challenge it. That's what they're really going to say. They're going to say, I have a buildable site. And this will never be built because of environmental constraints. Right? They put forth an impossible plan. Right?
Yeah.
And there you go. We're off to the races again.
So this is the fourth round, they say. I don't necessarily understand that. How long,
it's a 10-year round. So it's going to be redone in 2035.
So within 10 years, we'll have to have 70.
So, yeah, you're planning out for the next 10 years to provide a reasonable ability for these 70 units to be built or created or whatever they are going to be for that 10-year period. And then in 2035, you got to look forward another 10 years.
And there's all different types of regulations. It would be lovely if you could just put together a 35 unit of 100% affordable municipally owned development, because you get double the credits. But they wouldn't like that because it's not within the spread that they want, with a certain percentage of for sale units, low, moderate, percent, correct me if I'm wrong, but they want all these parameters met.
Yeah, there's a lot of different requirements that need to be met.
So they want more of a development with these different size homes, but intertwined.
They want more rentals, more open to
Yeah.
families, not age restricted and.
A little diversity.
Yeah, and Chairman, just so you know, this is for, round 4 is for the 10 years. As you can tell, the laws change on this all the time, so whether or not it's a real 10 years or not, who knows? Because this is all relatively new, this method of going about it. We used to have, developers' remedies, then we had COA. COA didn't happen, it stopped working. We were kind of left in no man's land. Round 3 numbers were never actually fully adopted because they were completely rejected by the courts time and time again, the gross share model. So who knows? It's speculation as to where it will be in 10 years.
All right, so the only action for this is gonna be.
In the short term, yeah, we
For
know.
the town council, but, is there any action that we should take here at all?
Not tonight, it's just being informed. You don't need to make a recommendation. Obviously, the numbers still have some, some revisions.
Okay.
It's gonna be up to the council ultimately to accept the number and adopt it. Gonna be up to the council and the township to actually file the litigation to enforce that number. And then ultimately, when that dust settles, it's gonna be coming back here. You're probably gonna wanna have a subcommittee recommendation, just to have a working group that's, outside of the Open Public Meetings Act, not to be non-transparent, but just to have frank discussions with the planner about where these things ought to be. Definitely want to probably have your Class 2 member on there too, from 1 and 3. What is it, Class 1? Mayor's designee or whatever, right? And
Yeah.
Class 3, Class 1 and Class 3 members, because they're part of the planning board and they're also going to be a liaison with the governing body and the mayor.
Okay,
And will you be able to be at our meeting on the 29th? It's at 6 o'clock.
Check.
Is that the only item that's on the agenda?
Yeah.
are they able to 6 o'clock?
I don't know.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Perfect.
You meet there, Beth?
That's a special meeting.
Like the township.
Yeah, I need to get up to speed on all this affordable stuff.
Yeah,
Paul's always handled it.
that'd be nice, for,
Yeah.
Okay, I was nervous about the whole thing, the way it was worded, like we were gonna be penalized if we didn't have it in time, but
Oh,
it sounds like,
Oh, you will be penalized if you don't have it in time.
yeah, but it sounds like we got a pretty good grip on
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
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 You're penalized by exposing yourself to a developer's remedy. Or some developer can come in and try to force a development. It's like up the road,
Yeah, we definitely don't want.
way up that road, I guess. I'm trying to figure it out.
Right.
Off 57, Autumn Ridge. And the other one, over in the industrial district.
Sycamore Landing?
Yeah.
The people that
No, that was the developers renting.
No, the one that, when they were all here for the warehouses,
Overlook records.
Overlook.
Overlook?
Oh, Overlook back.
That
in
was
the
developers
90s.
revenue.
Yes.
That was
industrial zone.
one time that would start.
Well, maybe it started being planned in the
Start planning in the
70s, but they
70s.
didn't build till the late 90s.
Yeah.
That's why they were grandfathered in on a lot of things.
Beth, you
So
said something
it's
about-
really a brave new world. Nobody knows what's going on except what the initial process is and where, how it's going to get adjudicated and played out. How the courts are even going to deal with the volume because most municipalities are waiting till the 11th hour to adopt these, and then within 48 hours, they're all filing, and then it's going to be a lot of,
Litigation.
yeah, a lot of process going in that. I don't know, maybe they can handle it, maybe they can't, but
And did you have a question?
I did. Beth, you had said something about 215 homes that were low income throughout the township. Did you just say
rehab,
something like
I
that?
think, right?
Oh, no, we're gonna rehab homes throughout the township. We
Okay.
have a program, that we just started, this past year, in 2024. So, they did, late start, and they got flooded with over 100 applications. A lot of people applied from our town, and, I know that one, applicant was approved, for, at the very least, a new roof, I don't know what else, but, they would spend up to $30,000 on these homes that are approved for their certain needs. New windows, roof, heating, cooling systems. We did this many years ago as well, it was very successful, but we only did 15 homes back then. So, we implemented this to do 3 homes a year, so hopefully next year we get, 3 homes in at least, and we make it, move a little faster.
And all over, they're just all in different,
All
areas.
over our town, as long as you qualify.
So if that's publicly funded, then we couldn't,
With our trust fund.
then that couldn't be used as the, low income?
Well.
It's a different-
Stan
It's a
said no,
different
it's a
obligation. They have to be income qualified to get into that program. So it is for low and moderate income homeowners who have issues with their house that needs to be repaired. They can apply for this and get grant money, and they have to put a deed restriction on their house to keep it as low and moderate income.
For 10 years, and after that, it gets swept away. So it's not a bad deal.
And you can't, am I right or wrong? You can't sell your house for 10 years?
Well, you can, but you have to pay it back.
Correct. So it's not a freebie if you want to leave or something.
We can rent it out potentially, or no?
I guess.
All right, does anybody have any questions, any more questions for Mr. Block or anyone?
I was just wondering, like, in the last 10 years, do we know how many new units we added in this town? And I know we did Autumn Ridge, but a random house here or there,
Sycamore Landing, I think, was built in the last 10
it
years.
was,
So I
okay,
think there was, at least 50 units over there.
uh-huh.
The
And then all-
Delaware Park School was remodeled, 1 unit came out of that one.
How many units are in Delaware Park?
Oh, it's the old school, so they put in 4 and
Okay,
we have 1,
okay.
yeah. So that's what I can think of
When
off
was
the top of my
Warren
head.
Heights South done? North was first and then south.
More than 10 years.
Yeah, it's been more than 10 years. So like in 10 years, we haven't even built 100 units in the town.
Well, yeah, we have. Because Sycamore Landing has at least 50. They have
50
senior-
units?
Yeah, they have 50 units, senior and low moderate, yeah.
Okay, so that's how many low, moderate, or senior units. I was asking like how much growth have
Oh.
we had in 10 years?
Ah.
Ridge has a lot.
Yeah,
There was a lot of growth.
Yeah.
Autumn Ridge had a lot of units, I don't have a number of them.
Yeah.
I was just curious from a, because 70 units sounds like an awful lot to be adding to the town at
Well, if
this
somebody
point. but
puts an apartment.
It would have to be an
complex in,
apartment complex.
Yeah, it's gonna go real quick.
Well, it's 70 affordable units. which
Right.
Really translate to 350.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that place still for sale over by you all? And he had no income in there.
Yeah, but
That's a beautiful place for him.
Yeah, but there's no sewer there. I mean, he would have a hard time putting 300 units.
Which place is that, next to you,
Yeah.
on Bellevue?
I mean, he probably has enough space, there's 9 acres.
That's what I mean, it's tough.
By the time you get away from the stream,
Yeah.
you're down to like 3 or 4 acres.
He's got to go, I don't know if the town's on the pipe.
Yeah, I don't know.
But they probably have to put in a private sewer treatment.
Yeah, like they did on Strikers Road.
Hmm?
Like they did on Strikers Road.
Yeah, like a pump station.
Oh, yeah.
Pump it up the hill.
But that's another thing, I don't know what the status is of our sewer capacity, ability,
Yeah, that's something we have to look at.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think we were
I
past that
don't
already.
know with that.
we're pretty close to being maxed out.
Well, I know the sewer engineer did like a capacity analysis when we were doing
Bridge.
the two warehouses, the bridge development warehouses. The post office warehouse and the bridge development warehouse, and the NFI warehouse, but they went away.
No.
They're not gone.
They're
They're
not
not gone. But they're not getting
They're
it.
lurking.
They didn't get it further. Yeah.
They are lurking at every meeting.
And we were close, I think, there.
Yes.
We were close to capacity at that time. I think there wasn't a lot.
Yeah, they're here.
But we gained a little bit from the mall, didn't we? Right, because
Yeah,
the
we looked at that
capacity-
too, I remember that.
The capacity doesn't go with the property. That's the way
Well,
I-
they had capacity that was, right, that was allocated for the mall.
Yeah.
It was allocated for the mall. So I think they're taking some portion of that. But I think there's excess capacity that probably came out of the mall. Because I don't think that warehouse is gonna have, it's not gonna have that much. Or the mall. But there is a report somewhere floating around that the sewer engineer put together. So we'll find that.
Yeah, I don't know what yeah, and I don't know, I know that I'm continuing back to what Joe Pryor was talking about. I don't know if there was litigation or negotiation going on with Phillipsburg or anybody over there.
There was at one time, right? It was based on, it was like sewer rates, not capacity. It was like the rates.
Yeah, I forget.
Beaver
Right,
was
and
supposed to
that agreement, that is up, and it was up at the end of last year, but they haven't moved on anything over there in Phillipsburg, because they're in the, doing a sewer rate study right now, they're doing a study, so they haven't moved on, negotiations for a new rate.
But I don't even know what capacity they have with the state.
Allocated,
Yeah.
yeah, for Phillips or Sioux Street.
Yeah.
But we'll have to.
I don't know how true it is, but I thought they had to upgrade over there and upsize, massive.
Well, they're gonna have some of their own growth coming as well.
Right, so they're as long as your piping can fit it through the town. You know what I mean, you've got to build the pumps and the, you know what I mean, or cleaning process there.
They may have to upgrade and not have the capacity to serve other towns. Who knows?
I don't know.
All right, anybody have any more questions about the fair share obligation? Okay, would someone care to make a motion to adjourn?
Got
Motion to adjourn.
I know, my phone's ringing.
it.
Plan us out.
What's that?
Yeah, that's right.
Make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second
it.
All in favor?
I was gonna say.
Could have been a worse song, that was a good one.
Yeah, I need help here.